And away we go. So welcome to the Oddball Podcast. We are super excited here to be out at the Diamond Hitch Freeze Dry location here, your brand new kitchen. And we are speaking to Natalie and Donna about the art of cooking and how you have taken fabulous food and turned it now into a beautiful business. I'm Johanna and I'm joined with...
I'm Mya, your co-host.
Wonderful.
Hi.
And hello.
Hi.
So go ahead, ladies. So Natalie, introduce yourself.
I'm Natalie Sharma, and I'm the cook for Diamond Hitch Freeze-Dried Foods.
And I'm Donna Kane, and I work with Natalie. I'm the owner of Diamond Hitch, but couldn't do it without a cook. I'm not a cook.
Very good partnership.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that works very well. So both of you, like you said, come from very kind of different backgrounds here, and together you came together to build this beautiful business here, Diamond Hitch. So tell us a little bit about how did you get started? What brought you two together?
Well, I guess for me, it started. My husband, Wayne Sawchuk, who's the owner of MK Adventures, every summer he goes on the trail and he needs food for the guests. And the provider that he had been using was no longer doing it. So we were, kind of figure out where are we going to source our food. And we had this building behind the house, which had started out being a woodworking shop. But over the years, it was getting incredibly messy, and I'm like, there must be a better way of doing something with this building. So kind of the two things aligned, and it was like, why don't we just make our own freeze-dried food? And we have this empty building, and this is a great excuse to clean it up. So that kind of got it started. But I knew I couldn't. I'm not a cook, but Natalie's been a friend for several years, and she's an amazing cook. So I asked Natalie, any chance you'd be interested in coming in on this business? And she said yes. And in fact, she named the business. When we were sitting around the table trying to come up with a name, she suggested Diamond Hitch.
How did you come up with the name?
Well, thinking about what Wayne and Donna have been doing in the Musqueam and their ecotourism business that they're running out there, I knew that the Diamond Hitch was something that Wayne used a lot, and the Wranglers use a lot out there to secure the pack string loads, and I just thought the name fit really well because we were thinking about food security, and I think it works really well for what we're doing. We're trying to make sure that people get the meals that they expect, and they're ready to go when they need them, so it seemed to make sense to me.
Yeah, it kind of has a story with it too, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
Comes together there.
Yeah.
And so your background, Natalie, you come from kind of a restaurant management background.
Yeah.
So how did that really lend into
I think
this business?
I think just my overall experience is working in the hospitality industry and running restaurants in Winnipeg, and working with kitchen managers and kitchen staff and owners and people that are generally creative around food. Has always kept me really interested in, and that's why I really love that industry. And then myself, I'm not a chef, but I'm a home cook, and I just love experimenting at home, and it makes me feel very calm and meditative, and I like trying new things. So that's kind of how we ended up doing this.
Yeah, well, like you said, I like the fact that, it is meditative when you, do cooking, and cooking is such an art, because you're taking raw ingredients and making something beautiful out of it, even the presentation of it. And I can only imagine that, with that, you're making amazingly tasting good food.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we've gotten a lot of feedback from the guests from this year, and everyone really loved everything. So I got a lot of hugs and high fives, and Donna and I were both... we were heroes. So
amazing.
And I think one of the guests kind of put it in my mind exactly why this, I'm hoping, is going to work, is because the freeze drying method has improved over the years. So anyone can freeze dry food now, and it'll come out just the way you put it in. But not everyone can cook well, and Natalie's flavors and everything were an absolute hit. So while I do the processing and the packaging, it wouldn't work without Natalie's cooking.
Right. Right.
So-
And so your background is in writing and kind of author and that. How does that lend now to the business? And how do you bring
Well,
your creativity?
I would say, like, for the past 30 years, I've been an administrator of one sort or another. Like, I was at the college for decades as an administrator. So I have the skill set for, doing the books and keeping things together and doing budgets, etc. And, the writing part hasn't really led into this. This has kind of become my creative project at the moment. I haven't had a chance to write for a long time, but hoping once we get going, that'll come back.
Yeah.
And maybe I'll write a book about freeze
That would be
drying.
amazing.
Oh, your journey.
That's a great
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah.
So what types of food are you guys making? Like, do you want to walk me through the meals and stuff?
When we first started out, I was thinking about comfort food
Yeah.
and the stuff that you'd want to eat when you're camping.
Totally.
And I tend to make a lot of that just for myself and my partner at home anyway. So the things that I ran past Donna, and then we sort of talked about what we would like to provide. Meals like beef stew,
Okay,
a
yeah.
shepherd's pie. We have a really great meat and tomato sauce. We did a Thai red curry
Ooh.
with chicken.
Wow.
Yeah, so we've got I think about 12 dishes now that
Nice.
we've nailed down.
See, I never knew you could freeze dry food like that, like
Yeah.
actual meals, because I've seen the candy and I've seen like the fruit and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's really cool.
Yeah,
that you
that-
guys are-
Being able to freeze dry the actual meal makes perfect sense to me. Like I'm like all for that next phase of
Yeah.
if you combine it and it's made really well, like Donna said already, all of that goodness is there. It's just ready and waiting for
Yeah.
you to choose it. So,
Totally, yeah.
Huh. That's really neat.
Yeah.
How
Well,
you-
and it seems like you guys figured out a demand for it too, right? With the
Right. Well,
The
the
trips
initial
and-
the
yeah.
initial demand was for Wayne's, and because it is a fairly significant expedition, it goes for 3 months. That's a lot of food. So we probably prepared around 600 individual meals for this summer.
Yeah.
And so that was a really good training ground for us.
I know
And then through that, we've had a lot of people, express interest in the product. Once we don't yet have our health permit. So this summer we were just testing it on
Playing
the
around.
clients. But once we get our health permit, which is supposed to happen next week,
Yeah.
yeah, we're
Yay.
excited. And they've already come out and done the initial, and everything's good. But they just have to come out for the last inspection. So once we get that, then we can start selling commercially, and we have had a lot of interest in that. So
Yeah.
I think we're not going to have trouble selling the meals.
I don't think so.
We're just going to have to figure out like how profitable it's going
Right.
to be in the
Right.
end. But
Yeah.
we'll work it through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and being out here, you're in rural Raleigh here, so just outside of Dawson Creek. Do you grow then a lot of the food? Is that kind of the goal too,
That
as
is the
well,
goal.
to source locally and
As much as possible, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I've got quite a few raised vegetable beds, and I've got a greenhouse.
Yeah.
We have a lot of local producers as well in the area who have their own nurseries and whatnot. And that is our hope with the meat as well, is that we can source locally and, provide more, I guess, business for our local businesses.
Yeah, keep it in the community and
Yeah.
stuff, right?
Yeah.
Totally. So how did you guys go about like packaging and marketing, or how are you guys going about that?
Well, I'm on a Facebook group for freeze drying, which has been super helpful. So, but we're just following the directions like that they gave us. We've
Yeah.
got books that we're doing, and I think we've gotten good at it. We've had
Yeah.
no fails. I mean, all the food stays freeze dried. They have to go into special packaging, and they have to be sealed by a special sealer. But technically, the freeze-dried meals can last up to 30 years
Really?
in your shelf. Yeah, no
Huh.
refrigeration needed at all. If it's meat, they say that after 3 or 4 years, the taste could alter a
Alter,
bit,
Maybe change
right.
it.
but it's still going to be fine to eat. So,
Huh.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Wow.
that's the food security part that
Right.
Yeah.
ties back into the dining.
Yeah. No, I didn't realize it would last for that long.
Yeah.
Having that is
It's
Super
really
long time.
incredible. And then we were thinking about who we would want to be marketing to.
Yeah.
And of course, with the experience of MK Adventures, people that are camping or going hiking or outfitters maybe. But then we thought a little bit further, people that need food security, like especially with all the wildfires that have been happening in the area, for people to be able to have something that they know is good that they can eat, that maybe is safe if they have allergies. They can throw that into their go bag, keep it in the trunk of their car. You know, if they have to evacuate, then they've got food when they get to whatever their destination is. And even for myself and for Carl the other day, we had a pack of freeze-dried food that I made that was in our cupboard that Donna and I made together. And we pulled it out the other night for dinner because I didn't want to cook. And it was amazing. And we said both times that we had it, because it was enough to have some, seconds on it, some leftovers. I was like, this is just amazing. Like, I can't believe I made this 3 months ago. And it tastes like I just stood at the stove and made it. So for me to be able to open our cupboard and choose that meal that's like a full, totally nutritious, has meat, veg, sauce, I can add the carb to it, or it'll have the carb in it, over something like a craft dinner.
Yeah.
No offense to craft dinner, love it a lot, but you can only eat so much of it. So to have meals like that are ready, we're hoping that people will see that as an advantage as well. Like, they're not just buying it for their trip, they maybe got it on their shelves as something that's quick if they have guests coming over, or they just don't feel like cooking.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
No, I love that. I never would have thought of using freeze-dried food that way.
Yeah.
I myself have to admit, I've never had freeze-dried food, so I have no idea. But what you're describing sounds amazing, and I don't want to always cook either. So I'm in.
Yeah.
You sold me. You sold me on that.
That's great.
Yeah. So we do have this clay that's in front of us. Yeah. So we like to have this out while we are having our conversation to kind of be creative as we're going through. So feel free to use the fancy tools to make whatever it is.
I tried to make a truck.
There you go.
I like it. Aww.
It's looking very great.
I don't know.
It's fast.
Yeah, it's not going anywhere. It's a low rider.
No. So the plan with the business then is to, like you said, hopefully expand and get more into that commercial space. So over this next summer, what types of plans do you have to kind of launch that out there?
Well, our plan is starting like right away, because we've just moved in here. So once we get our health permit next week, then we will just start cooking, and we're going to try to build up our stock so that by January we can start selling our product. And we'll mostly at this point anyway be selling online. So we have a website, diamondhitch.ca, and people can go on there and order their food that way. Or, we've had a lot of requests just like mouth to mouth. So I feel like just direct sales to the local community will do pretty well. And then we'll just see from there how it goes. But yeah.
Did you guys find it hard to set up a website?
Donna did it. It was easy for me because I didn't have to do anything. I was like, it looks amazing, Donna.
It's very simple, but I have done websites for like years. So
you have experience.
No bells and whistles. It's just very plain.
Very basic.
But it does have our story on it, so it is a good place to go for people that need information or seeking information about what we're doing.
And we will expand it. I think we'll start a blog so that we can just kind of chart what we're doing.
Yeah.
And I think Natalie has to have a YouTube channel.
Right? Yes.
Totally.
I'm totally adverse.
Yes.
I'm nervous right now.
I think she'd be amazing.
Might be a few years before the YouTube
I can
channel
see a little cooking channel going on.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, speaking of your guys' kitchen, you did put in a brand new kitchen in this brand new space, and we'll make sure we get to show it off here. But talk to me about the whole process of setting up that kitchen. That must have been quite a feat. Like you said, this was an old barn, turning that into a space.
It was actually like 2 old granaries put together. And the transformation from, like, it wasn't, there was no drywall or anything.
Yeah.
There was no insulation. It was just like 2 old granaries pushed together. So there was quite a lot of work to it. And then when we got ready to do the drywall, do the flooring, we worked very closely with Northern Health, so that with every step I would say to them, okay, this is the kind of flooring we're going to use. Is it going to work? This is the kind of baseboards. I'm going to order the sink today. Is it going to work? And they were great with us. And they have also said that, I mean, it works so much better. So for anyone else who's thinking of trying to do something where they have to have a health permit, working with Northern Health every step of the way is better for both.
Right.
You know, you don't make a mistake and get something that's not going to be appropriate.
That's not going to work.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And so then you had to order all of this commercial equipment too. It's not just your Home Depot.
No.
Yeah, very
All
hard.
but Canadian Tire.
Very hard to get. And also, so a lot of it, like the sink, had to come from Ontario. And just the delivery process is very challenging because we are rural, and so shipping companies won't deliver to our home because we don't have a street address. So then we have to work through Banstra or a place like that to have it delivered there first, and then that's where we pick it up. So even just ordering the most basic sort of commercial kitchen equipment is proving quite challenging, but you know, we're doing it.
Right.
Well, they did it. It looks great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so in the kitchen, it looks fairly like simple, like as far as it being, it could be a home kitchen, but you do have this big freeze dry. Is that really the only special piece of equipment that you need to have in there, or there's probably a lot more that I'm not seeing?
The sink has to be at least a 3-compartment sink, and everything has to be stainless steel, preferably. You can't have anything that's permeable, so you can't be using something where some food is going to sink in.
Yeah.
So, I mean, essentially we're a small commercial kitchen, so it is very much like a home kitchen, except for those sort of requirements around permeability and the type of sink and the processes you use. Like when we prepare our food, we have to be very careful with the ice baths and making sure the temperature of the food goes down to the food safe levels in time, and all that sort of thing, which is where Natalie comes in because she's been used to that for a long time. So for her, it's second nature.
So is it like, because I'm not exactly sure how the process goes, right? So do you cook the food and then you just pop it in the freeze dryer, or it's probably a little more than that?
It is a little bit more. There are a couple extra steps in there. So, you know, once the food is done cooking, then like Donna mentioned, we put it into a quick shallow bath, ice bath to bring it down to food safe temperature, which is 20 degrees rapidly. So that has to be done within a couple of hours of it coming off the stove. And the ice bath does that. And then the food is transferred to the freeze-dried trays. And then those trays themselves have lids, and then those are moved to deep freezes where they're frozen for about 48 hours to 72 hours. So it's pre-frozen, which reduces the energy consumption on the freeze dryer when you're actually going to put it in. And it also makes it more stable, so you can move it around. And anyway, then after that, it hits the freeze dryer, and then Donna can probably tell you a bit more about that process.
Basically, what a freeze dryer does is it pulls all the moisture out of the food. So at the end of the process, to tell whether it's like dry, we use a weigh method so that we take out a tray, we weigh it on a weigh scale, put it back in for 2 hours, take it back out. If the weight hasn't changed, then we know it's dry. The machine will also tell us when it's dry, but we always go extra just to be sure. And then, it comes out, looks like styrofoam.
Yeah.
And put it into the Mylar bags. You stick in an oxygen absorber. You seal it with an impulse sealer. And that's pretty much it. Then, of course, there's the labeling and all of that. But then to eat it, you just open up the bag. And if you're in a kitchen, just dump the contents into a pot. Take out your oxygen absorber. Pour in boiling water till you get the consistency that you think you like, and within 10 minutes, your food is like it came just off the stove. Very simple.
Yeah, sure, simple.
Just an easy.
It's really simple.
Well, you're making it sound really simple, and I get why you'd love to have those in your cupboard or have them on your camping trip.
Yeah, there's definitely the stovetop method, over fire method, straight out of the bag method if you're pressed for gear, if you've gone hiking and you don't want to carry like a bunch of extra pots for water and reheating, you can make it right in the bag,
pour the water right in,
but if you're making it at home, I just put it on the stove, and then you can add more water or reduce it as much as you want to whatever consistency you want.
Well, and that's a good point too about size, right? Like you've actually now shrunken size that it takes to pack all of that. What percentage do you have an idea of how much room you're saving? Like,
there would be quite a bit, and probably one of the biggest things is the weight.
Oh, weight,
It weighs
right.
nothing.
Yeah.
So you could have like 12 meals, stick them in a box, and I doubt they'd weigh more than a pound or two.
Yeah,
Like, really,
it's amazing.
Huh.
The weight reduction is the biggest part because water adds so much of the weight. Yeah.
And all the nutrition stays in the food and everything.
And that's the
as
other
well.
thing too. When you're
Cool.
camping, you can't bring everything that you need to make one of the
Right.
let alone
Yeah.
3 or 4 of them, right?
Right.
In terms of condiments or aromatics or whatever else you're going to be putting in. Even the chicken weighs a ton, right? So once it's made like that, then you have so much variety over the course of like your 4 or 5 night experience. Yeah, it's really great.
Huh.
And it's just fun to watch it rehydrate.
Yeah.
The first time we did it, it was it was your sausage and cauliflower in sort of a cheese sauce.
Okay.
And it just looked like pieces of cardboard or styrofoam.
Yeah.
And we put it in, we poured the boiling water, and you couldn't tell what the cauliflower was when we put it in, but it just all kind of bloomed back.
Really?
There was a whole cauliflower.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
It was really cool.
See, and that's where that art comes in,
Yeah.
right? It's like a beautiful thing to watch unfold.
It is a beautiful thing to
Oh,
watch.
just
It
thinking
is.
down the road when you start your YouTube channel, that could be one of those, channels where you just watch it grow.
Yeah.
Small bloom,
exactly.
satisfied.
Reblooming your food.
There you go. Reblooming, that should be your channel. There you go. Taking your food.
Hilarious.
Yeah, well, I definitely want to try it. So
Yeah,
when
absolutely.
you ladies get up and going and order, I'm going to be your first customer
Perfect.
ordering online
Terrific.
because it does sound fabulous.
Awesome.
It seems like the food of the future, like
Yeah, I
pretty
think
sustainable. There we go.
Yeah. So then how does it differ from like dehydration? Like when you talk about moving the moisture content and like dehydrating, it's kind of similar or like.
It's similar, and it's what was being done, for hiking,
Right.
for a long time, but it doesn't take all the moisture out. It just takes sort of enough to dry it, but it won't last nearly as long. So the shelf life is completely different, and it just doesn't seem to. I haven't done a lot of research on the exact differences, but basically it doesn't take all the moisture out of the food. It doesn't take long for dehydrated food to absorb the humidity in the room and come back, whereas I find with the freeze-dried food, I've had some freeze-dried food, like one of Natalie's meals, where I just only needed half of it, and I just put the rest like in a bread box.
Yeah.
And it's good for we have very little humidity here, so I'm sure that helps. But
Yeah.
that food just doesn't rehydrate easily.
Right.
So it does if you put boiling water on it.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it's way more shelf stable.
Yeah. Huh.
Well, yeah, it's amazing that you guys can keep all the flavor in there too.
Yeah.
Because I would think that it would lose some of that, but
no,
no,
it's completely just locked in. All of the spices, all of everything that you build into the recipe is there, right? It doesn't disappear. It's just the water that's disappearing, and the weight. Yeah, Donna did some strawberries actually this summer, so that's the other thing with some of the items you would rehydrate with cold water, and strawberries you could do with a bit of cold water, but they are fantastic just on their own. They're like super
love them,
concentrated.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
it's the only freeze-dried thing I've ever tried, and they're like so good.
Yeah,
10 out of
they're
10.
incredible.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, now I'm going to have to try it all.
Yeah.
Were you guys selling at farmers markets at all, or you haven't?
We haven't really
No.
because we're waiting to
Right, for your food
Yeah.
license,
Yeah.
fair.
Waiting for that.
but
next
we would
step.
like to. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, good. Well, hopefully we'll see you at the
Yeah.
farmers market this summer. And then next summer, will you be supplying all of the food for the trail rides again?
I imagine, yeah.
And then does that mean you get to go as well on the trips?
Sadly, that is one of the things. If you're doing the administration side
Yeah.
of the expeditions, and if you're creating the food, you're probably not going to get
Yeah.
to
You're
the
not going to get to
But Natalie did get to go into the horse camps up at Mayfield, and she prepared the food up there.
Yeah.
So she got to do that. She had to cook the whole. Well,
Yeah.
I think you got to ride a horse once.
Yeah,
or
I
twice.
did. I did get to
I
go
got
up
to
to
do
the
some fun.
Alpine, so yeah, I did.
And
get
they
to
loved
have a
her, of
break.
course.
Yeah, it was
Well, that
awesome.
sounds
It was
fun.
good. It was nice to be the camp cook out there and meet the guests and see how much they were enjoying the food.
So tell me about that process. Did you bring your freeze-dried food with you?
Yeah,
or
we
were you
did.
doing fresh as well?
Well, we
or?
had enough freeze-dried food from what we had created that we were able to augment the daily menus with freeze-dried meals.
Okay.
So some of the lunches, all of the dinners, and were freeze-dried for the camps as well. And it worked out really well. And some things we put together because Donna had thoughtfully made ingredient packages of, let's say, just the cooked chicken or just these freeze-dried vegetables that when I was up there, I could create from using the ingredients, or I could just rehydrate the meal for the guests and add in, mashed potatoes or do something.
Well, that's brilliant.
Extra.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Did you guys struggle at all? Because it's
There's a little bit of struggling with just creating the commercial kitchen,
Fair, okay.
getting
Yeah,
all
absolutely.
the infrastructure in there. But the actual freeze drying, I mean, it was nerve wracking for me anyway. Like when we did our first few batches, like it's a very expensive machine, so it's like you worry you're going to do something wrong. Mm-hmm. But as it turns out, they're very easy
Pretty
to
simple.
operate. Yeah.
Right.
So now
and you have another one coming, you were just telling us.
we do, thanks to the South Peace Mackenzie Trust. We received a grant for a second freeze dryer. And that grant, for anyone who's interested in what that is, it's for the South Peace region, and it's if you can create a new business where you can employ a new person. So it's like economic, what's that word?
Economic development.
Yes.
Growth.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you can create a new position for somebody and a new business that isn't there already, then they will consider assisting you. And in our case, there isn't anyone that we know of anyway making freeze-dried complete meals.
Yeah.
There's lots of freeze-dried candy, as you say, and like fruit, but the actual complete meals, there isn't anyone
Nobody
that we
doing
know
that.
of doing it in this region.
Yeah, what a cool opportunity then to be able to access that money that's available for our region and put it towards something good like this and get your feet off the ground.
And increase our production so we can reach more people. And
Yeah, and Community Futures has been very helpful as well in the, just helping us find sources for different things. And so
once you get fully operational and you have your online business going and it's pumping, you're going to farmers markets, you're out there in the world. Storage. Where are you storing all of this? Because I imagine you're having to create meals all the time to keep your supply up.
Yeah,
Is that going to be an issue?
We store our meals in opaque Rubbermaid containers, and it's best to be in a cool, dark place. So I have a room in my home that works beautifully for that, and it's a very big space, so we won't have trouble storing the product. But you wouldn't be able to do it in this building as well.
Right, that's what I was looking around.
Yeah, exactly.
Where are you going to put your stuff? I mean, it compacts down quite nicely, but I don't think it'll fit under the table.
No.
Because you want to have a big supply.
Yes.
Yeah. Right on. So how does it with your partners now? So this must be busy for you working in here all the time. How are they feeling left out? Or how are they contributing as well?
Well, Wayne has definitely helped package and whatnot. So I've assisted him a lot over the last year. So now I feel it's his turn.
That's turn. Good.
Get in here and do it. No, they've both been super supportive.
Yeah.
I mean, because it assists them as well. Because they've got a good source of food for their summer expeditions, and Carl's working with Wayne now. So we're just all a unit.
Yeah. Well, I like how it solved the problem that you had, right? Of trying to get the food. The treks were already happening, going up north, being a part of that. So tying in the food piece just seems brilliant. It was a no-brainer for you two to kind of come in and fill that space.
Yeah. It's great that we work so well together and that we both have these talents that go so well that we were able to create this business.
Well,
are just our own need.
Yeah, very fortunate.
Yeah. So how is it going with building your clay pieces there, Natalie? Let's see. You built as far.
I made a little truck.
Little race car.
I love it. I love it. And something you can fill with all your freeze dry. That could be your freeze dry
delivery
truck.
Delivery
Yeah.
truck. There we go.
Wonderful.
Are you guys gonna do like deliveries or have a truck for that eventually?
Well, I haven't thought that far. This is the prototype.
That's your prototype.
Little race car.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. And Donna?
Well, in light of the snow, I made a snowman. But
Oh, very nice.
I still need to do the hat, but I haven't got that far.
That's wonderful. And Mya always makes very intricate.
Well, I'm trying to make a little island scene, so this is my jellyfish.
Oh, very nice.
And then we got a little
you made
a little
thing.
tree.
Dreaming of warmer days.
Amazing.
Yeah, see, you got the snow, I got the, he can come hang out on my island.
There you go.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. How did it get there, though?
And this is what happens all the time.
This is
we end up
right.
making a scene. I love it.
So what about you, Mom? Are you the ocean waves?
Well, it could be the ocean.
Oh, very
Psychedelic
nice.
ocean, I suppose,
Love
because
it.
my waves here are all different colors. We'll add that to this scene.
That's perfect.
Add that to this scene. So outside of this business, what other projects do you ladies have on the go, or does this pretty much keep you full time?
Well, so far, because we're just getting started, for me anyway, it's been pretty full time, but
Yeah.
I also write, so that's my hope is to get back to that.
And you also travel out east often.
Yes, I have grandkids over there, so
Yeah.
that takes me away as well.
Yeah, I always imagine writing over on that side of the world, that it
Yeah.
would be a very unique place, just different from
Yeah.
here, so give you lots of...
Yeah, exactly. I write
background.
more urban poems when I'm in Halifax.
Okay.
And more rural poems when I'm here.
Right.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how about for you, Natalie? Do you have any other projects
Yeah.
and things on the go?
Yeah, we've got actually a lot going on, but my partner and I are renovating a couple spaces in our yard for our friends and family to stay in, and then we have animals as well that we're looking after, and we help out on his parents' farm, so there's some lots of things going on. Always.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
Always. Yeah, it's amazing you find time to focus on this.
Yeah. There's time.
Do you sleep? Do you sleep at all?
I sleep quite well, thank you for asking. Out of exhaustion.
What is the favorite dish that you make?
Favorite? Wow, they're all really good. Not to toot my own horn.
They are, and I love what Natalie said one day when I was like, because I couldn't stand and cook for, well, it's not my thing. But Natalie's like, I could stand at the stove and just make beef stew all day long.
It is true. It is true. I was gonna say beef stew.
She's the one.
I do. I love eating it and I like cooking it. It just smells so good. And it's
That's your
comforting.
favorite. Yeah. What about for you, Donna? Beef stew? Or...
Well, I love all of her food, so I don't know if I have a favorite. But one of the great things that I get to do is like every time I pull the batch out and package it, I hive off a little bit just because you got to test it.
Yeah.
So I was like, whoa, what do I get to eat tonight?
Yeah.
And so you said you had 12 dishes. What are they?
Yeah. I'll have to try to
Can you
remember. So the beef stew,
Yeah.
shepherd's pie, the Thai red curry with chicken. I make a burrito bowl. We have the tomato and meat sauce. I have a not gluten-free mac and cheese with roasted cauliflower and hot Italian sausage. What else?
I'm trying
Pork,
to think.
breakfast pork sliders that we made.
Okay.
Chicken
Geez.
cacciatore.
Yeah, chicken cacciatore, leek and potato soup,
Yeah.
a cabbage roll soup. Just trying to remember them
Yes,
all.
yeah, you got a
Jeez,
lot
that's
of
quite
different
a
meals,
variety.
though,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Sorry, I can't remember them all.
And all of the meals at this point, except for the mac and cheese, are gluten-free.
Yeah.
okay.
And
Okay.
we found that is super easy to do.
Yeah.
So,
Huh.
Yeah, well then I get more clientele, right? And it
Yeah.
goes to everybody.
Yeah, they're gluten-free and dairy-free,
Oh, wow.
soy-free, nut-free. So, yeah,
Nice.
it should work for a variety of people.
Yeah, no,
and
that's super awesome.
you're not missing anything. Like I found that even for myself, because I like dairy and gluten and
Yeah.
nuts,
Can't
but
tell.
you're not missing it. Yeah,
Oh, huh.
yeah.
No, that's good because some of those like healthier like vegan foods and stuff you can definitely tell.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, it's good that you guys are.
yeah.
Keeping it
Beef
yummy.
stroganoff.
Oh,
Just
no.
remember that.
And we've had there's one woman who approached us and said, you know, I make this lasagna that my children love, but they don't live here anymore. Is there any way that I could bring you the lasagna?
Yeah.
We freeze dry it for you, package it up, and then she would use it as Christmas presents for her kids.
That's a good idea.
And so, you know, if we have time and space, we would definitely consider that too.
To try.
Take people's produce or whatever meals they would like for themselves, freeze dry and package for them. And
Huh.
Yeah.
That's a unique perspective.
Yeah, there's a lot of different ways you could go with that, for sure.
Yeah.
That's good.
Huh. That's wonderful. Yeah. Bring your own food and freeze dry it.
yeah.
You could get a whole bunch of new recipes out of that.
Yeah, I'm always wanting to hear about what people's favorite recipes
Yeah. Are you trying new recipes or?
I am. I'm always actively like reading recipes and just looking for things that sort of strike me that, you know, I would like to eat. So that's sort of what it's based on. And Donna likes what I like, so that works for both of us.
No
But yeah,
complaints.
like if anybody out there wants to contact Diamond Hitch with their favorite recipe that they want to have on their next camping trip, let me know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, families have great recipes. People have good things that they've figured out how to make. Knock it out of the park. Let me know.
Well, yeah, I thought that was a really
Inspiration.
good idea. Christmas presents, you know, get some lasagna and freeze dried.
Kids that are at university, you
Mm-hmm.
know, they get some freeze dried meals from their
Food's expensive
mom.
now.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. So how can people get a hold of you? So if anybody is interested, you did mention your website.
Yeah, it's in progress, and we haven't got it live yet because we don't have our health permits.
Yeah.
But by the end of next week, it should be up and running. And in the meantime, if you just do a quick Google search for Donna Kane, Kane, I do come up because through my writing and stuff. So it's not hard to get in touch with me. Yeah.
nice. And I'm sure, well, by the time this goes up, your website will definitely be out. So.
Yeah, we are probably airing this in the spring, so
yeah.
you will be up and going, and you'll be masters at it.
So our
Orders will be
website
flowing.
is diamondhitch.ca.
And her YouTube channel is.
Natalie's YouTube channel is
Work in
coming.
progress. Yeah.
Well, we really appreciate coming out here and learning more about your freeze dry business.
Cool.
And any final questions here from our team that we haven't covered? Anything? Well, it looks like we have learned a lot about freeze dry, and like I said,
I'm
are
excited
in
to
line.
try it.
We're very much excited to try it. So
Awesome.
thank you so much, ladies, for inviting us out to your property, your kitchen, sharing all of the art of cooking and everything that you do, the magic you bring out here.
Well, thank you guys so much.
Right on. Thank you.
All right, cheers.